Welcome to Good for Bitcoin, a weekly show recorded live every Friday, where we recap the top events of the week and talk about everything that is good for Bitcoin. If it's built on Bitcoin, then it's good for Bitcoin. Let's get started.
Content shared on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, or company. We encourage you to conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Good for Bitcoin. Very different intro this week. We're going to get into why that is, but that new intro video has me feeling super hyped.
I love it. Honestly, spent most of my week working on the video, not looking at the news. But yeah, it's very exciting.
Totally fine. Yeah, it's kind of one of those weeks. It's like conference, week. Tons of people at Token 2049 this week. So yeah, everyone was out there having fun. We're, at home just working on intro video.
It's fun to look back though, like when we're putting this together, looking back at all of the different footage we've, filmed, whether it's in person or guests we've brought on the show, which was a really cool reflection to see like all the different things we've done, people we've talked to, and just a lot of fun that we've had in taking this show. So it's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the news. So we've posted about it, but for those that have not seen the posts on X, Good for Bitcoin, this show is going independent, or has gone independent, I should say. Kate and I both moved over to Stacks Labs from Trust Machines this week, and this has been something that's been in the works for a while that we've been kind of aware of, but it was for a little bit of time kind of up in the air on what the future of this show would be. We started this show. Gosh, I feel like I was thinking about starting this show almost like 2 years ago. And the show's been going on for, over a year, maybe a year and a half at this point, which is also pretty crazy to think about that we've been doing this for so long. But we started it when we were at Trust Machines, and with the move going over to Stacks Labs, this show we've always covered. Of course, naturally, we cover just a ton of stuff in the Stacks ecosystem, just because we work in the Stacks ecosystem and the Bitcoin ecosystem. So naturally, we cover stories there, but we cover more than just Stacks, right? And with us moving over to Stacks Labs, we wanted the opportunity to keep the show independent. So that we could continue covering stories both inside and outside of Stacks, and just preserve decentralized media. The show is listed on, I'll shout out deorganized.media. We're on there. We're streaming on my Twitter account right now. We didn't have enough time to set up Kate's account, but we'll be streaming to her account as well, I think next week. We do have a YouTube account, but there was also a problem with it, and we're not live streaming there yet either, but we will. So yeah, Kate, maybe I can throw it to you and you can add on a little bit, and also maybe share what you're going to be doing at Stacks Labs, and we can talk about that a little bit.
Totally. I think I'm so excited that we get to keep doing this show. I think if anything, will bring us closer to Bitcoin. I feel like we'll be able to have a lot more candid conversations with people in other ecosystems that are all building on Bitcoin as well. I think that's something you and I have talked about that we're excited to do. Obviously, we chose Stacks. We like Stacks. We like what Stacks is doing. But, there's so much more to Bitcoin than Stacks. And I think something that we both like about Stacks is how there's such a Bitcoin-focused ethos to it. A lot of us are Bitcoiners at heart, right? So I think that that's going to be fun for you and I to branch out, build bridges to other ecosystems, but always stay tethered to Bitcoin, which I'm quite excited about for us to explore. over at the labs, I'm going to be doing content marketing, which I'm very excited about. I feel like over the last year at Trust Machines, I've really found this hack for video content, I would say. I think that it's so important in this space to provide a human touch to a lot of the things that we're working on and make it much more readable, almost emotional maybe. And I think that video is such a huge proponent of that. So I think, there a lot needs to be unfolded as to like how video is going to like work into my day to day. But yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to be focused on. And yeah, maybe you want to touch on what you're going to be focused on at the labs too.
Yeah. So I'm going to be a community growth manager. So continuing to focus just on the community, especially on just social and, it's both like, continuing to kind of maintain those relationships of all these like amazing, members of the community that are already in Stacks. But like emphasis on growth, right? Like we want to grow this ecosystem. We want to grow the community, and finding, new and creative ways to do that. I think, just to touch on what you said too, I think going back to, you didn't say like specifically the word storytelling, but like that's, I think, what you're really excited about.
Yeah.
And I am too. Like that's a really cool angle that I feel like is not. I feel like it's becoming more of a trend on the marketing side, but not as much yet in like crypto marketing. So I am very excited to see like what that's going to turn into and how that's
And on my timeline, I see so many people commenting on the state of crypto marketing, and just there's like very much an emphasis on airdrops and sort of hype and all of this kind of thing. And people are like, almost like craving this storytelling aspect to it. And I think like when you truly believe in what you're building, it obviously makes it a lot easier to tell that story. And something that I like that you touch on is just being truthful and honest about, what your product is, what it offers. And then you can like bring the vision as to like where you want to bring it. And that's sort of where the hype comes from. But I think people are craving this kind of authentic honesty. And I don't know, I think we have such a solid team to be able to pull this vision off. So I think it's going to be a good start to Q4 for sure.
100%. Yeah. There's already a lot of stuff cooking at Stacks Labs. It's only kind of 3 days in to October 1st was kind of the start date for everybody, including us there. So the team's already cooking. Half of the team is like in
Singapore. Right now. Yeah.
So, next week, I think everybody will be back, back at home, I guess. And we'll really be able to start, doing a lot. But it's an exciting time in this ecosystem, I think. I agree. Just to your point about like being honest, like it's hard to like, if you have like a product that isn't good and you're trying to market it, sometimes you might be tempted to be a little bit more dishonest about it.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like Stacks, it's not hard to be honest about Stacks while also being able to generate hype. There is truly like so much exciting stuff happening and so much exciting stuff around the corner that you can be honest about. And you don't have to like over exaggerate or, just be dishonest about a lot of the things that are happening in this ecosystem, because like truly there's a lot to be excited about. So really looking forward to sharing more about that.
Agreed. But like you said, obviously we'll be touching on Stacks on the show, but we will definitely be covering a lot more than just Stacks, trying to branch out and bring you all the news from all the little nooks and crannies of Bitcoin.
Yeah, like we've talked about it off the show, but like this show has been really helpful for both of us to almost like stay accountable for like all of the things that are happening in the industry. So very excited that we get to continue it. Obviously, we're going to be very busy at Stacks Labs doing all the growth things that we need to be doing there. But very, very excited that we get to continue the show. And I want to again, like say thank you to to Trust Machines for like
Yeah.
allowing us to continue to do this. Like they didn't have to, let us like take the show. Like technically they owned the rights to it, I guess, because we created it when we were there. So huge thank you, to Trust Machines for letting us continue to do it. And then another thank you to Stacks Labs for allowing us to do this truly like independently. So yeah, we're very excited to continue the show. And I guess let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's get into the news. Got to start with. I'll just say like with us moving with this show moving to be more independent. Like I don't think you're going to notice too much of a difference in terms of like what we talk about on the show, right? That's another thing that was so great about the show when we were at Trust Machines is just we already kind of were able to do what we wanted with this show, which was very nice. We had the freedom to talk about most of the stories that we wanted to talk about. So, for the listener, for the viewer, like don't, I guess, expect too much of a difference in what we cover, because we already kind of had some of that freedom when we were at TM. But happy that we can continue it. So because we cover similar things, we're going to talk about public company news, of course. Got to start with strategy. They bought 196 Bitcoin. And they now hold 640,031 BTC.
Then we have Liquid. Is that how you pronounce this?
I think so. Yeah, it's LWQD, but yeah, I would say Liquid.
They bought a whopping 14 BTC. They now hold 252.5 Bitcoin in total.
And then MetaPlanet had the big buy this week. They bought 5,268 BTC. They now hold over 30,000. And they have surpassed Adam Back's Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company to be number 4 among all the public companies, I guess, or all the asset management, treasury management companies on the list. So they're number 4 now.
Yeah, very cool. I was just kind of reading through some of their like plans and their goals, how they want to expand. But one of their goals was to hold 1% of the total BTC supply, which is very ambitious.
Yeah, but not impossible, right? Look at
Certainly
strategy.
Yeah, exactly. They hold 3%.
3%.
I think it's around 3%. Yeah.
Nuts. Another small thing. I saw that David Bailey was named strategic advisory board member at Treasury, which is the Netherlands treasury company.
Yep.
So David Bailey making some more moves there. And then you had this update for Tether.
Yeah, they added, I don't know if there's like a symbolic thing.
Eights are very lucky in Asia, I think. So
yeah.
Makes sense with token. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
It's okay. We're both just so excited. 8,888 BTC to their treasury, bringing their total on-chain balance address to 86,035 Bitcoin. I mean, I was just kind of like reading a little bit more into it, and this is just like playing into their bet on hard assets because it's not just Bitcoin they hold. They also hold 50 tons of gold, and they also own farmland. They control this company called Adacargo, and this company owns like 210,000 hectares of land in Latin America. So, very interesting.
Yeah, it just tracks in terms of like they're trying to hold scarce assets. Like land is also a scarce asset.
Yes. Yep.
I've heard like different. I mean, Tether has like almost more money than they know what to do with.
Yeah, I know. They're like the most profitable company.
Yeah,
in the world, maybe
per employee.
Yes.
Like and maybe even not even per employee. Like they might just be the most profitable just for how much interest they're able to like accumulate from all of the, I guess, Bitcoin, just all of the treasuries that they have that they've minted for USDT. So kind of tracks there. Like we said, a lot of folks in Asia this week. I know I haven't had a chance to look at some of the videos. There's usually like a few days of delay, unless you can maybe catch like a live stream. It takes a few days for like the videos to get uploaded to watch them if you're not there. But Manib has been just on an absolute tear on crypto conference after crypto conference speaking.
Yeah, I've heard, from people on the ground and just like seeing some videos that he's like bringing this like really bullish energy and momentum. And, obviously he talks a lot about like making Bitcoin productive, but he's kind of pushing this narrative around more Bitcoin utility, Bitcoin treasuries, talking a lot about the Satoshi upgrades coming to stacks. And I think it's just kind of a renewed energy, but I feel like a lot of us have that at this point with, SIP 31 now implemented, Stacks Labs coming together. I feel like there's just sort of, it's like a breath of fresh air, and a lot of momentum is building.
I definitely feel the momentum building. I feel like over the past like few weeks, you've felt like almost some impatience in the community. Like, and rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
Like people want the execution to start happening on Stacks, and now we have Stacks Labs just launched on Wednesday, and you're going to start to see some of this execution happen pretty quickly. I was actually a little bit surprised with, we've known about some of these things like dual stacking and the Satoshi papers and stuff for a little while. But I thought that was maybe like a next year thing. I didn't realize that stuff was coming like this year,
Yeah.
potentially for most of it. So again, I'll just go back to there's so much to look forward to in this ecosystem right now. So yeah, very cool to see Manib kind of leading the charge there and starting to talk about a lot of these things that we're going to see in the pretty near future.
Very cool.
Yeah. Next one is Dex Screener. Shout out to Rubes for kicking this off almost exactly 1 year ago. I remember seeing the post for it where I guess in order to get listed on Dex Screener, so Dex Screener is like an on-chain token like resource. It's like an API slash like, I don't know. They just do a lot with like visualizing like trading on chain, just seeing like what tokens are trending and who owns the most of what token and all sorts of like really interesting and valuable token data. And they don't have Stacks integration. So a year ago, Rubes kicked off this initiative to have people vote to try to get Stacks added, and that vote like I think the threshold was like you had to get like 500 votes or something like that in their Discord, and that happened like very quickly. And it's taken like this long for them to list. So shout out to Rubes, shout out to the STX Tools team that Rubes is also part of, and also shout out to Shaylee and the Stacks Labs BD team for also working on this as well. But looks like that's going to happen within the next day or two. I think they kind of confirmed that it was happening yesterday, and I think they're just working on like behind the scenes, like getting all the API connections and stuff like that ready to go. But that is set to happen very, very soon. So very exciting stuff.
Yeah, this is awesome. It's kind of crazy how arbitrary the process can be, and it goes to show like how if you just put like all of your focus and energy and you get the community involved, you can make things happen. So this was very cool.
Yeah, I mean, very much like a community effort. It should not have taken this long, honestly.
No.
Like if Dex Screener is gonna say like you need 500 signatures for this, and then we'll do it. Like they didn't really like hold up their end of the bargain,
No.
I guess, quickly enough. But we got there eventually, so it's good news.
Some Bitcoin based news.
Yeah, they this is just a small one, but it's a big number. They surpassed $1 billion of on-chain BTC-backed loans through Morpho, their partnership with Morpho. And that's after just 8 months of being available. So it's pretty huge. They also announced that loan limits will be increasing up to $5 million in USDC. And I think I saw, can't remember if we covered it on the show a few weeks ago, that they are now offering like you can like LP basically on Morpho through Coinbase, and you can earn like something like 10 or 11% APY on that as well. So doing a lot of stuff in the lending space. Love to see it. This kind of merging of like CeFi and DeFi together is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good to see some numbers on this because there's big announcements and you're like, oh, this sounds so cool. And then you kind of like look into the fine print a little bit. And sometimes you're like, yeah, it's not as good as it seems, but I don't know. It seems like it is kind of taking off. Coinbase they've been pushing out a lot of like yields, like you said, with the 10%. I know in Canada they're offering, I think, 4% on just like USDC holdings. If you just hold USDC on Coinbase, you can earn like interest on that, which is pretty cool. Definitely giving a lot of TradFi a run for its money.
Yeah, they've been shipping a lot of stuff this year. I feel like they have the credit card now is live.
Is it like available for everybody?
I think, well, in the US.
In the US,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they like removed the wait list or whatever
Nice.
like a week or two ago. So now anybody can just go on there and get it. And I'm still holding out for the Fold card. I'm excited for that. Mostly because it's a Visa, and Visa is just accepted in more places. So
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know, for me personally, like I know there's people that like have multiple credit cards and they like to like optimize rewards. Like I just want one card like that can do it all, you know. So I just want a Visa card, I guess. So looking forward to that one.
That's cool. I've been living credit card free for the last 6 months, and it's kind of by choice, kind of by laziness, but it's a kind of peaceful life when you don't have to worry about like, oh, did I pay that off or whatever. But I wish there was like a really solid Bitcoin offering card in Canada. I just don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, I pay like, maybe it's like an American thing. Like I pay for everything on my credit card, but I also like I pay it off in full like every month. So I don't, like I use it, but I don't sort of. It's just like to get the points and the rewards back that you don't get with the typical debit.
I've been using like it's almost like a what is it called? Prepaid Visa, and it gives you Bitcoin cash back, but obviously you can't do a ton. Like you can only spend what you have in your account, but that's how I've been living.
Yeah, Fold has had that for a long time. I've never gotten it personally, but I don't know, I'm just holding out for the credit card. It just makes more sense with like, I don't know, however I like manage my finances. This was interesting. So I saw a lot of people posting about this week. US Treasury Department has issued interim guidance around unrealized gains tax for corporations. So the US Treasury Department issued basically new guidance clarifying that unrealized gains on digital asset holdings will not be subject to this thing called the corporate alternative minimum tax. And basically what this does is spares companies like Strategy from potentially billions of dollars in tax liabilities. Strategy was also very quick to post about this when the guidance came out, saying that they don't expect to be subject to it, like the CAMT. What this is basically, it's this thing that was enacted in 2022 that imposes a 15% minimum tax on corporations that earn over $1 billion in annual income based on their financial statement income rather than taxable income. So, because like the price of Bitcoin goes up, there was also some accounting changes, like the federal, I can't remember what the spelled out thing is. It was the FASB like had some accounting thing that they changed a few years ago. That made it so that you could now account for a rise in crypto prices, but you would potentially be taxed on that, I guess, under this rule. So it's very nice for like these Bitcoin treasury companies, for companies like Strategy, that they're not going to be taxed on unrealized gains.
Yeah, obviously that's a huge win for them. I think I read in the article that you shared, the Bitcoin Magazine one, Strategy is wanting to reach like 1 trillion in Bitcoin, their holdings. I think that's their ambitious goal. So obviously this would save them billions and billions in taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause the whole goal with this, right, is that you never have to sell it.
Exactly.
Like Sailor posts all the time about like not selling and never having to. So, one of the benefits of not selling is you can get a loan, and loans aren't taxed really, in the US. So why should you, if you want to make benefit of that, but then you're also getting taxed for the unrealized gains, like it doesn't make sense. So it's good for them that they don't have to worry about that. This one was funny this week. UK authorities claim the world's largest BTC seizure. UK authorities have convicted Chinese women Jimin Qian, who is tied to a Ponzi scheme that includes 128,000 victims. From 2014 to 2017, her company promised investors up to 300% returns. Classic. To hide the money, proceeds from the scam were converted to Bitcoin, where she then tried to launder the money by buying property in the UK with an accomplice there. Before the conviction, the UK had seized laptops in 2018 after kind of all the scams happened from 2014 to 2017. And those laptops contained 61,000 BTC worth $6.7 billion or 5 billion pounds. And it's funny that amount of Bitcoin would place her at number 2 on the Bitcoin Treasury's list, right behind Strategy.
It's so good.
So much Bitcoin. On Wednesday, this was super interesting. The Financial Times mentioned that the UK may try to keep the $5 billion of seized Bitcoin, but also noted that it would require a really long legal battle. Understandably, many of the 1,000 Chinese victims are wanting to recover the Bitcoin that was stolen from them in the Bitcoin native form so that they can, continue. Like the market value of Bitcoin has gone up a lot since 2017, right? You would love to be able to recover that Bitcoin in Bitcoin denomination, so you can, just have, again, there's a lot of unrealized gains potentially that you've made during that time. But they said that the High Court could instead decide that the victims are only entitled to recover the value of their original investment, which would be around 640 million by comparison. So 640 million to 5 billion pounds is a huge difference in price. So TBD, I guess, on what's going to happen there, but that would certainly be a huge windfall for the UK if they were able to keep that 61,000 BTC.
That's crazy. I know. I don't know if they're actually obligated to give the money back. I was kind of trying to find some like legal precedents, and there are scenarios where I guess different governments and legal entities have worked together, but I don't think that there's necessarily an obligation if you're dealing with like foreign victims. So I don't know, but I this like immediately reminded me of the OneCoin. Have you heard of this scam?
I remember hearing about it, but I don't remember. I think the main like scam, like Ponzi thing that I remember from back in the day was like BitConnect. That was like the one that
BitConnect.
Yeah. That was the one that everyone joked about, but maybe it sounds like you know a little bit more about it.
It was just like it was a cryptocurrency. It was basically just an MLM. Like this woman was really pumping this OneCoin as like the money of the future, and it was all embezzled. But I don't think that they got any of that money back. At least like in this case, like someone has the money. It's the UK government. It's there. It's not just like spent and disappeared. There's potentially a path for people to end up getting their money back, but I don't think anyone got money back with OneCoin. I could be wrong, but it was very much like a messy MLM scam. And she was on like the FBI's most wanted list and all of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
I think her name is Ruja. So yeah, it's just because they're calling this girl the Bitcoin Queen, and they called the OneCoin girl the Crypto Queen. So
really, that's so funny. I missed that part. Yeah, it is very interesting. Like if I was a victim in one of these scams, or if like look at the U.S. for example, right? Like the U.S. has never bought any Bitcoin. All the Bitcoin that they have is pretty much from seized assets, like seized from Silk Road, or seized from what was the exchange that Razzle Khan stole from? I don't want to say the wrong exchange and have somebody sue us. But anyway, all of the Bitcoin that the U.S. has was stolen from by people. So if I was using an exchange and that exchange got hacked and somebody stole all the Bitcoin out of that exchange, and then the person that stole it was caught and then somehow the Bitcoin was seized by the US, I would be like, well, can I have my Bitcoin back? Because like, I was just a user of that exchange, right? And it's weird that it doesn't seem like it works that way. Like, I don't know. It feels like your stolen funds should be returned to you, but I guess that's just not the world we live in, which is very strange.
Yeah.
Government just wants to keep it. Don't know.
Anyway, we'll have to follow up or like keep a close eye on this one because that's a huge one. Like it's a big scam.
I'm sure it's like, again, like international law, and I'm sure it gets like so complicated with like the legal process for something like this. So,
totally.
Yeah, we'll see how things go. Probably take a long time. To get resolved.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you've seen much of this on your timeline. I've kind of seen it a little bit. Zcash, this narrative is coming back. So, Zcash is basically like a privacy crypto. I don't know a ton about the technicalities of it, but it would be very comparable to Monero. Anyway, it's been up 150% in the last 7 days and up 250% in the last month. It broke $150 for the first time since 2022. And the narrative that I'm seeing is it's a little suspicious because it's like kind of big figures. It's seemingly coming out of nowhere about like the narrative that they're pushing is, Bitcoin is insurance against fiat. Zcash is insurance against Bitcoin. And a lot of this has to do with because Bitcoin is so transparent, it's a public blockchain, people can track the transactions. There's this concern that a lot of government agencies and maybe private corporations will eventually start monitoring the Bitcoin chain and being able to track your transactions. And yeah, there's just a lot of talk of this. Even people are talking about how even if Satoshi is alive and had access to his coins, he likely would never be able to move them or touch them because there would be a lot of eyes on him. There'd probably, be governments around the world probably trying to persecute him. And so I'm not super familiar with the technicalities of Zcash and actually how private it is, but people are getting excited about it. And then obviously there's people on the other side saying like, this is just classic Bitcoin cycle. Zcash comes up every time. The narrative here is nothing new, but I don't know. Have you heard much about it?
Not lately. Thinking about like Zcash and Monero though, I feel like those are like two cryptocurrencies that are like generally a little bit more accepted by Bitcoiners, like because there's a very specific like valid use case for them existing, which is like full privacy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also been like a source of FUD for them over the years because transactions are private on the network. It's hard to like do an audit of the blockchain like you can with like Bitcoin, right? You can confirm and verify how many coins are on the network and who owns what, and it's very easy, if you run a node to verify all that stuff. And like, of course, yes, there's like ZK proofs and there's a lot of math and algorithms that are involved with verifying that this stuff is legit, but it's harder to understand like for folks like how that stuff all works in the background. So that has been, I guess, like a source of FUD in the past, but very cool. I think it would be nice if we had something like this like for Bitcoin, of course. I think like Liquid has like some privacy, but I don't know how it compares in privacy to something like Zcash. But yeah, I think it makes total sense to as a use case, right? You want in some cases, like especially for people in like just difficult situations, like if you're in like war or like you need to escape or like I don't know, like there's plenty of valid reasons why you would want fully anonymous cash.
Yeah. It's basically like the equivalent of paper cash is like, right? They're like, there is no trace. You can't tell who gave $5 to who because how are you going to do that? So yeah, I don't know. It's something I guess to look into, keep an eye on. if like privacy in finance is super interesting to you. But it just like it kind of came out of nowhere in the last couple weeks, and I was like, why is this happening? Like, why are people pushing this now? I'm always a little bit skeptical
Yeah.
when I hear things like this pop up, but yeah, it's interesting.
Cool. Yeah, interesting stuff. I think that about covers it for the news this week. Thank you for everybody for tuning into our inaugural version 2 of Good for Bitcoin show.
Very cool.
We'll get this up on our YouTube channel. But yeah, in terms of live streaming to YouTube, we'll try to get that fixed as soon as we can. But yeah, we didn't prep an outro for the show. We don't have a fancy video like the intro. We spent all of our time on the intro and no time on the outro. But yeah, everybody, thanks for listening. And yeah, visit us at goodforbitcoin.com. That still redirects to the podcast. Follow us on YouTube and give us a rating if you like the show on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. And I don't know, anything else?
I think we hit an all-time high today.
Okay.
Or nearing, maybe, and that's
Yeah.
BTC to CAD. I think it's probably the same BTC to USD, but it's first day of our independent show. We hit an all-time high. Signs are good.
It's Uptober. Uptober is here.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good weekend, y'all. Bye.